Hello everyone and welcome. We are so excited to have you join us for this video and we are about to share with you our rendition of the Second Continental Congressional Debate. Okay? The fourth graders have been hard at work learning about the events that led up to one of the most important moments in American history, the American Revolution. This journey has brought us here today to Independence Hall, as you see on the screen behind us, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the very place where leaders from the 13 colonies gathered to make some of the biggest decisions in our nation's history. But this wasn't the first time the colonies met here. Back in 1774, 2 years earlier, representatives from the colonies gathered for the First Continental Congress to stand up to British laws, taxes that they felt were unfair. At that meeting, they decided to send a petition to King George III asking him to recognize the colonies' rights and repeal the harsh taxes. They also agreed to stop trading with Britain until those issues were resolved. But when the king ignored their request, tensions continued to rise. The colonies knew they had to meet again. And that brings us to today, in the 1776, at the Second Continental Congress, the meetings you are about to witness. In this video, our students have recreated this historic moment. Each student will become a delegate from one of the 13 colonies, and together they will debate the crucial question: should the colonies declare independence from Britain, or should they remain loyal to the king? Some of the students will argue as patriots, fighting for freedom and the chance to create a new nation, while others will speak as loyalists, believing it's wiser to stay connected to Britain for protection and stability. They've worked hard to understand both sides and are ready to present their arguments just as the real delegates did in 1776. This project is more than just learning history. It's about developing critical thinking, practicing public speaking, and learning to see the world from different perspectives. I'm incredibly proud of all these students and the hard work and preparation they have done and put into making this debate come to life. Thank you for joining us on this journey back to Independence Hall. Now, let's listen in as history unfolds and see what choices these young delegates will make. Welcome, delegates. My name is John Hancock. I will be leading the debate today. Today we have gathered to decide what to do about the things that are happening between us and the British. We all know that things are not going great, but we have to do something. And so some of us are thinking that maybe we need to declare independence and become our own nation, and we know that comes with risks. And others of you see those risks and are worried about those risks and think that maybe it's wiser to find a different path, find a path that doesn't include war. Because we do know that Britain is a formidable adversary if we do go against them. Okay? So, without further ado, I would like to welcome up Delegate Hayden from New Jersey. You can come on up, sir. And Hayden, you are arguing from a loyalist perspective. So without further ado, Hayden, will you address your fellow delegates and explain to them what you believe and how we should proceed?
I take position of a loyalist. I believe that...
Can you start over, please? I'm sorry. I'm going to give you the microphone. There you go.
I take position of a loyalist. I believe we should not go to war with the British. If we go to war with the British and we make our own army, it's not going to be as big as the British. And we need, since they're taxing us, they're going to need a lot of bullets to protect us. Without the British, we wouldn't be here. The French and Indians, when they attacked us, the British helped us take over the French and Indians. And it helps, they take control, and if the French and Indians come back, they're gonna take over our land.
So what I hear you saying is that you're afraid that our army, the colonial army, is lacking, and we wouldn't be strong enough to fight against them. And if we did fight and beat them, we would have to worry about the French and the Indians coming and trying to take back land. Okay. Are there any delegates on this half of the room that would like to refute that claim? Delegate Kira from North Carolina. Loud and clear, address Hayden, delegate from New Jersey. So again, just to reiterate what he said, he's afraid that we won't have a strong enough army to compete with the British.
What if some other countries come and help us?
So, repeat yourself.
What if some other countries join us and help us?
Like, who are you thinking?
Like some colonies that has been in war with the British.
Some other countries, you mean?
Yeah.
Any delegates know of any countries that could potentially help us? Delegate Grant from North Carolina.
Spain.
Spain, okay.
Or
Spain
France.
already has some territory in present-day Florida. Okay. Anybody else? Delegate Jameson from Massachusetts.
France is a rival with the British, and I believe that they can help us.
So you think because they do not like Britain, they would help us out in defeating Britain?
Yes.
Okay. What are your thoughts, Delegate Hayden, on that? They're thinking that maybe some other countries will come and help us.
What if they decide they don't want to?
So you're saying you're not really willing to risk losing a war and losing lots of men, women, and children on a maybe? Okay. All right, thank you, Hayden. We will now call up our next delegate, Delegate Grant from North Carolina. Come on up. Thank you, Mr. Delegate G. All right, Delegate Grant, go ahead. You may take a seat.
I take the position of a patriot. I believe that we should go to war with Britain. I believe this because we've already started fighting. Battles have happened in Lexington and Concord. There's no turning back. The evidence I found to support my reason is Britain has fought wars against Spain and France, and both of these countries would love to see Britain lose control of our American colonies. They have strong enemies and powerful navies that could help us defeat Britain and protect our new country or our new nation.
Okay. So Delegate Grant has mentioned that fighting has already begun. Shots have already been fired. Lives have already been lost. And you're saying there's no turning back now? Okay. Delegate Jeannie from New Jersey. What do you have to say about that?
Lives had already been lost, but why would we want to lose more? If we go to war, we're just going to lose more and more lives. There's just going to be more pain and more suffering. Why would we want that?
Okay. Grant, what do you have to say to that?
Well, if Spain and France join us, maybe we'll have more people on the side.
So you're saying, yes, we might lose more lives, but you're saying if Spain and France help us, we can win the war and it's worth losing those lives, risking those lives? Okay. Delegate Jackson from New York, what do you have to say to that?
How would Spain and France give up
the war is going to take money from them and soldiers, so why would they give up that just for us?
Yeah, so what Jackson is saying, everyone, is that wars cost money. And if they send soldiers, their soldiers are going to inevitably, some of them will die in war. Are they going to send their own people? Are they going to spend their own money just to help us colonies, which they have no right to the land or anything like that? So you're under the position that you don't think they will help us because it comes at too great a cost? Okay, thank you. Delegate Grant, thank you. You can take a seat. Delegate Ezra, would you like to come up? Delegate Ezra from Massachusetts, come on up, sir.
I take position of the loyalist. I believe that we should not go to war with the British. I believe this because other countries might take over if we break away. The evidence I have found to support my reasoning is France has tried to take the land from the British colonies before. If Spain sees us struggling to defend ourselves, they might attack and take over our land.
So, Delegate Ezra, you bring a very passionate and powerful argument that you're worried that if we kick out the British, it's just going to be somebody else that's going to try to come in and take over because they're going to want that land?
And it'll probably be worse than the British.
Oh, so you're saying that maybe life under the French or the Spanish would be worse than under the British.
Than under the British.
Any delegates would like to retort that? Go ahead, Delegate Kira from North Carolina.
Spanish people and other countries that you said, if we did fight the British and the war was over and let's say we did win, why would they come after us?
Why might they come after us if we beat the British?
Because they might see us struggling, and after the French and Indian War, we pretty much, British has shown them that we're stronger, they're stronger, and if we stay in touch, no one would ever take over our land. We should be paying for the war that happened, and the taxes, okay, they might be losing our money, but maybe it's not so bad. We have the protection of the British.
Okay. So you're saying the protection of the British is a great deterrent to other nations like the French or the Native Americans coming and attacking us again. Delegate Adrian from New Hampshire, what do you have to say to that?
What if they have their own things to do? And what if they don't really pay attention to our colonies and they have other things to do that we don't know?
So you're saying you don't think that they will be interested in the colonies? They have their own things that they would like to pursue. Okay. All right. Delegate Ezra, thank you for sharing your argument. I need a delegate from the opposite side here. Delegate Ava from New York, come on up.
The British government keeps making rules that hurts us, like the unpredictable acts that punished Boston.
Yep. Keep going. The reasons I have to support this? The evidence?
The evidence I have found to support my reasoning is they also took away Massachusetts' ability to govern itself and sent more soldiers to control people. The king uses his military and laws to control us instead of protecting us. Can pass any law. They want to punish us whenever if we disagree. We will never be free.
So you're craving freedom. Right now we are just being completely controlled by Britain and taxed unfairly, and it's just not a good way to live. We have to do something. We might have to declare independence and fight back.
Exactly.
Okay. Delegate Hayden from New Jersey, what do you have to say to that?
Since when the thing happened in Boston, it was because a little boy was throwing stuff at him and at the soldier, and when you're doing that,
the British are just trying to do their stuff, and then a little kid comes up and throws stuff at him and taunts him, and then what is the British gonna have to do?
So you feel like the British were justified because you felt like it was a riot and things just kind of spiraled out of control? Okay. Any thoughts on the fact that, so Delegate Hayden was talking about the Boston Massacre and what happened in Boston and how there was that riot, and yes, he knows that the British shot some of the colonists, but he believes it's because they were throwing ice and sticks and stones. Anything to say about that?
Well, the reason they could have just done that is because it was probably some kind of sign for wanting a freedom.
So they were protesting that they wanted freedom, and yes, things got out of hand, but it's just a part of their protest, and they need to be able to protest, otherwise they'll be completely controlled.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, thank you, Delegate Ava. Can I have Delegate Jeannie from New Jersey come on up?
I take the position of a loyalist. I believe that we shouldn't go to war with the British. I believe this because a war with Britain would be very long and very bloody. Many people will die and our towns and farms might be destroyed. The evidence I found to support my reasoning is they will burn houses, take supplies, and destroy our farms. People will go hungry, and families will have to leave their homes just to escape fighting war. War will just bring more pain and more suffering to everyone, and once it begins, there's no turning back.
So you're saying war is just ugly.
Yeah.
And it will be death. And you're saying think about your friends and families, because inevitably all of us in here will probably lose friends, neighbors, family members, sons, daughters if we go to war. Are you willing to risk the lives of the people around us for this chance at freedom?
Yeah.
And you don't think it's worth it?
Because why would it be worth it? Just losing people just to escape Britain?
Okay. All right. Delegate Jameson from Massachusetts, what do you have to say to that?
We already are dying from starvation and taxation from the British. There's no point, even if we do go to war, it's almost the same thing as what's happening right now. We're starving. Our family and friends are dying.
So Jameson says doing nothing is not an option either, because we're already dying and just living in a way that's just not sustainable. What do you have to say to that?
Well, if we, sure, we're starving, but at least if we're living with Britain, we have a roof over our heads, we have a place to live, we have money to buy food. If we go, where would we go? Where would we find our food? What food would we eat? Where?
Delegate Cole, you can step in front of the camera. Delegate Cole, what colony are you from?
Well,
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Your citizens back in Pennsylvania are going to be very sad that you forgot them. No, I'm kidding. Anyways.
But if we keep living under British's rules, we won't have a lot of money, because we still have money, but not everybody has money for food. So if we keep living under British's rules, they're gonna keep taking the money. So if we defeat British, we can get money from them, and then we can become our own country, and then we can become our own country, and then we can have all the people who are already living in, or when we become our own country, the people who are already living in British, we can have them come to ours, and then we can lower the taxes.
Okay. So you're just thinking that it's just too harsh.
Yeah.
We can't continue to live this way.
Yeah.
We can barely afford to put food on our tables, a roof on our head, and maybe some people won't be able to anymore.
Yeah.
So maybe some people won't have food, won't have housing, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
You want to retort to that?
Yeah, but if we fight war, it's pretty much just gonna be the same thing. We wouldn't have any money to get money. No, wait, what? No. We wouldn't have any money to get food or a house and we wouldn't have shelter. So yeah, living with Britain is dangerous. But if we don't, where would we go? We wouldn't have any. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have survived. We wouldn't have any food.
So
Where would we go?
So you're saying yes, we are suffering. It's costing us a lot right now, but war is expensive. So if you're already complaining about money, where is your money going to come from for this war?
Exactly.
All right. Delegate Kira, do you have anything to add to that?
The boss, the British are already like taking money and a lot of things like what Cole said, like like what he said. We also won't have like enough money to for kids can go to school, and you also have to pay for for kids and children to go to school. And with this, soldiers are kicking people out of their bed, and let's say whoever got kicked out of bed, like a child, they would have to sleep somewhere or not sleep at all and go to school exhausted or tired.
Delegate Kira, I'm going to actually have you come on up right now to continue that argument, because I believe you want to argue the stance about the soldiers in their homes. Yes, no? Come on up. Yep. Delegate Jeannie, you would like to stay up here and debate all day, it sounds like?
Yes, I would, thank you.
All right, Delegate Kira from North Carolina, everyone.
I take the position of a patriot. I believe that we should go to war with the British. I believe this because British soldiers, the king is forcing the British soldiers into our homes, and we have no choice but to let them stay. It's not protection, it's control. And we have to feed them. This is the king's way to have control, sending soldiers into our homes and onto our streets. The evidence I have found to support my reasoning is we deserve the right to feel safe in our homes. If we become independent, we'll never again be forced to shelter the king's army. No soldier should have the power to take what belongs to us and threaten our families.
So what Delegate Kira is saying is the British, the king and the parliament over there passed a law forcing us to have to house any British soldier, and if they come knocking on our door, we can't say no. It's against the law to say no. We have to house them, we have to feed them, we have to allow them to stay. And that is disrupting our families, it's disrupting our household, it's causing issues with our children, so on and so forth. And so she has had enough of it, and she needs to, you're saying if we fight for independence, we can make our own laws and we won't have to house these soldiers anymore. Okay. Any delegates on this side like to speak on that? Aiden?
Yeah, but wouldn't a parent not let the parents is gonna have to let the British soldier go into their room instead of their kid's room, because a parent is responsible of having their kid in their own bed, and why would a parent would be selfish to kick their kid out of their bed? What about the parent put them in their bed?
So you're saying that the parents can just bring the child into their own bed while the soldier is staying there?
Yeah, it's kind of like that, except they probably will do that because the kids or the children or whatever have to school in the morning, but the parents also have to work. And with their work, they have to work extra hard because of the British soldiers.
Wondering I have, Delegate Hayden, on what you have to say. Would you like to have to sleep with your mom and a soldier take your room? No? But you would do it so you didn't have to die in war?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, fair enough. All right, Delegate Kira, you may take a seat. Thank you. Delegate Elena, come on up. What do we say to Delegate Robinson for joining us for a few moments?
Thank you. You guys are fabulous. I love it.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us. All right, Delegate Elena, you have the floor.
I take the position of a loyalist, and I believe that we should not go to war with the British. I believe this because Britain provides trade and money. We make money by trading with Britain. If we leave, we would lose jobs and businesses. The evidence of support my reason is Britain is our biggest trading partner. That means farmers who grow tobacco, cotton, and wheat might lose their biggest customers. Plantation owners and merchants depend on Britain to sell their goods. If Britain stopped buying from us, many could lose their jobs and businesses could shut down.
All right, so what I hear you saying is Britain right now is our strongest and pretty much our only trading partner, and they may no longer trade with us if we go to war with them, and then we could fail economically. Okay. Any any people delegates that are arguing on behalf of the Patriot movement want to retort to that? Delegate Grant from North Carolina.
Well, can't we just like find a new trading partner and grow crops with seeds and Tabasco with seeds and stuff?
So you're saying you think if we get rid of the British, there'll be plenty of other people to trade with?
Yeah.
Okay.
And better prices.
And better prices, Jameson says. Can you explain that more?
Like, British is giving us low prices for the food that we're growing and supplying them. And a lot of other countries could give us way better prices for the things that we're growing.
Oh, okay. So you could see an economic boom if we get rid of the British control. Delegate Elena, any thoughts on that?
But if we
No? Okay, no, that's fair. All right, Delegate Elena, thank you for your time and your words and your wisdom. Delegate Adrian, come on up from New Hampshire. Sorry, Delegate.
I take the position of a patriot. I believe we should go to war with the British. I believe this because the king makes us pay taxes, but we have no say in British government. The evidence I have found to support my reason is the Stamp Act of 1765, which forced colonists to pay a tax on newspapers, legal documents, and even playing cards. Britain repealed the Stamp Act, but they keep creating new taxes like the Sugar Act and the Tea Act.
So you're also arguing that the taxes are just too much and it's just really, really hurting our families, right? Delegate Gabriel or Delegate Jackson, do you have any thoughts on the fact that the British taxes are too high? What do you have to say to that? Maybe thinking about the French and Indian War or anything? Anything you'd like to add? No? Delegate Jeannie, would you like to add something to that?
Yes. Yeah, we're living with Britain and they're taxing us and we're losing a lot of money. But if we go to war, we won't have any money. We wouldn't have any money and there would be like no way to get any money back.
So you're saying war will cost us even more money? So like if you're arguing that money is the issue, war isn't the answer is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Adrian, any thoughts on the cost of war, or why you still believe that we need to go to war because of the taxes and whatnot?
I still believe we should still go to war because we have to pay taxes and we can't make those taxes and we can't vote for the taxes if we don't want that tax we can't go to Britain and say, oh, we want that tax. No, they just make it up for us.
So you're saying Britain is making all these laws, we have no say. So you're understanding that things might get financially tighter during the war, but afterwards we'll be able to make our own laws and rules and lessen the tax and things will get better. So things might get worse for a while, but looking at it, big picture, long way down the road, we will be better off. Okay, thank you. Delegate Gabriel, come on up, please. Thank you, Delegate Adrian. Delegate Gabriel from New Jersey. Go ahead, sir.
I take the position of a loyalist. I believe that we should not go to war with Britain. Instead of fighting the king, we should talk. Instead of fighting, we should talk to the king and try to make peace. The evidence I found to support my reason is instead of going to war with the colonies, we can protest peacefully. And in 1766, Britain replaced the law. This proves that if we work within the systems, we can make progress. Britain does not want to lose the colonies, and they're willing to make changes if we explain their concerns properly.
Strong point. He is saying that, Britain does not want to risk losing these colonies. They're too lucrative, they are too valuable, and if we kind of put our foot down and say, we're not doing this, we're not doing that, and protesting, they will eventually cave and give in because they don't want to risk losing us. Is that what I hear you saying? Okay. So you think figuring out a way to get what we want through peace negotiations or talk rather than through war is a better path forward. Okay. Any delegates over here? Delegate Mason, any thoughts on that? On what he had to say? He says that peace talks and protest might lead to results. Any thoughts on what that has to say?
I mean, they're probably not going to give in.
Why do you say that?
Because whenever we resist, they punish us.
So Delegate Mason is saying he doesn't think that they are going to give in because every time we resist, they punish us worse. Okay, all right. Delegate Gabriel, any thoughts on that? No? Okay. All right, Delegate Gabriel, you may take a seat. Delegate Mason, you can come to the stand. Delegate Mason from Pennsylvania. Everyone.
I take the position of a patriot. I believe that we should go to war with the British. I believe this because the British makes laws that don't support us but help Britain, but it affects the colonies, which shows they want what's best for them and not for us. The evidence I have found to support my reasoning is in the text it says how the Navigation Act made it where we can only trade the British or whatever.
British goods.
Even if we could get better prices from different countries, and that just shows that they don't like us.
Okay.
And that they want what's best for them and not for us.
Oh, so good point. Delegate Mason is saying that everything that they're doing is just to benefit themselves. They're not thinking about us. Delegates, any delegates on the opposite side have a retort to that? Delegate Hayden?
It's because since they're trying to tax us more, if they need like the bullets and like the gear to like help us, they're probably gonna need to tax us. And then if another colony or colony come by, the British are gonna have a lot of more bullets because since they taxed us, there's gonna be a lot more bullets that they can make.
So you're saying that the British has more money and has more ammunition and everything like that, and so it's too big of a risk to go that route. Your thoughts?
They're already taxing us on everything else. And we can get resources easier by trading other countries.
So you're sick and tired of the oppression that they're putting on us. It's time to become a new nation and create our own economy and create prosperity for us and our children in a new nation. Okay. Delegate Jeannie, what do you have to say to that?
Yeah, we could do that, but if we go to war, we'll barely have any people left if we go to war. And they have a whole bunch of more soldiers, more people in their army. So if we go to war, a lot of people are going to die, and we won't have enough people to do it.
So you're saying that the war will just destroy us, and we won't be able to form a new nation afterwards, okay? Your thoughts?
Well, we already don't have enough money to buy good food, and we're starving, and we're already dying.
So you're saying that it's worth the risk because the path forward right now is not something we can continue.
Yes, and we need freedom.
And we need freedom, okay? All right, thank you, Delegate Mason. Delegate Jackson, come on up, please. Delegate Jackson from New Jersey as well. Man, Where are you from, New Jersey?
New York.
New York. Got it. Delegate Jackson from New York, sorry. I will get you the mic there, friend. I didn't know they had Gap back then, the Gap clothing brand. Just kidding.
I take position of the loyalist. I believe that we should not go to war with the British. I believe this because the British is the strongest country in the world, and they would win because they have more of a skilled army, more weapons, and money for the war. The evidence I found to support my reasoning is the colonies have small militias made up of farmers, merchants, and tradesmen. Many of these men have never fought in a real war and have very little experience in battles. The colonies do not have enough soldiers, weapons, or money to keep up with all the war.
So he's saying is, on one side we have the strongest army in the world, and on our side we have untrained soldiers. So it seems like a clear picture to you that this isn't a good idea. Okay. Delegate Kira.
We don't have good trained soldiers, but we can always train them. They have good armies.
Delegate Cole, go ahead and join her quickly and explain what you're trying to say to her.
You can't train them because we're already in war. Can't train them.
There's still time to train, Delegate Cole. There's still time to train. Delegate Kira, what advantage do the colonists have? Where would this war be fought?
Probably between us and the British.
So that's who, but where would it be fought?
Like between the lines.
Not necessarily between the lines, but in our home turf. Who knows the land? So you're saying, so could you say that
We can defeat them easier because we know all the land, and we can find the highest land and defeat the British soldiers.
Delegate Cole, yes?
We can defeat you guys, even though we're not.
Not you guys. You've got to remember, these people that are with you are your neighbors. They are the British. You can defeat the British.
We can defeat the British, even though our colony is not the best, because the British doesn't know our routes, but our colony knows the routes to get around up to the high ground. So it doesn't matter about the skill, it matters about where you can go and where you know to go, and the high ground.
So I hear what you guys are kind of saying here is that, yes, we're less trained, yes, we're less skilled, but knowing the land is going to help even that playing field. Okay, Delegate Jackson, go ahead.
Yeah,
I mean, right now our land better than them, but they have a bigger army, so they could take their army and spread out across all parts of our land.
Okay. All right, Delegate Jackson, thank you. Which delegates on this side have not come up yet? Delegate Cole, come on up. Delegate Bobcats, we are going to stay here until the debate is done.
I take the position of a patriot.
Sorry, Delegate, I need to get you the mic, bud.
I take the position of a patriot. I believe that we should go to the war with the British. I believe this because trade or freedom, if we are independent, we can trade with any country we want, not just British. That will help our businesses go up. The evidence I found to support my reason is this would allow us to sell our goods at high prices and buy supplements for less. British only allows trades that benefit them, and they put high taxes on important goods so that we have to rely on British
Merchants?
They are not looking out for us. They are looking out for themselves.
Well done, Delegate. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, well, not boys and girls, delegates, I should say. Delegate Cole here is saying kind of the similar lines in agreement with Delegate Mason that these taxes are too much, that our businesses are hurting, and they're just looking out for themselves. Any loyalist arguments to refute that? Not this time. Delegate Curie, you would like to add to that?
Like Cole said,
That's okay. Delegate Elena, you'd like to add something?
I would like to add that, yes, British has like lots of things that are high prices, but if we move to a different, if we fight the war, just like Delegate Julie said, it will cost lots of money, and then
So you're saying the cost of war is just too much?
yes.
Very well done. Delegate Cole wants to add something. Go ahead.
So we're gonna be fighting them. So if we defeat them, we can get out of that era, and then we can make our own rules, and then we'll lower the taxes. So that's why we want to go to war.
Delegate Elena.
But if we try to defeat them, they would probably win because they have a bigger army than us.
Delegate Cole.
Yeah, but we know our routes. We have the high ground. They have the low ground. So most likely they have more people, but we still have more routes. So some people, so we have better routes, and we have the high ground. So they have the low ground, so we might win. We have a better chance of winning because we have the high ground.
Delegate Jackson.
The British still knows our land a little bit because they did help us with the French and Indians.
Oh, so you're saying the British soldiers are going to know our land because they've been here and fought here already against the French and the Indians. Delegate Kira.
What I was going to say earlier is, the British soldiers, they've already been in our territory, but we've been living in our territory for years. So just that fight, that doesn't mean like they can know our territory the best. We know them. We've been knowing the territory for years, so we could get a better chance as.
So you're saying we still know the territory much better?
Yes.
Delegate Mason, did you have something you wanted to add?
Never mind.
No. Delegate Ava, what would you like to add?
I actually agree with Cole. And if we don't do anything, like what Jameson said, we would still not be free. And if we go to another place, we could do any rule we'd like. And he's right, we can lower the taxes, which is way much better than the ones we have right now.
Thank you. I think our last delegate, Jameson from, Jameson, where is yours from?
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, come on up, sir, to the floor. Thank you, Delegate Cole. Are there any other delegates that have not had the chance to come up to the podium and speak? I believe this will be our last. Delegate Jameson, will you close out our arguments today on our debates so that we can begin to discuss what we're going to do, whether it's independence or stay with Britain? Go ahead, sir.
The Boston Massacre. British soldiers killed innocent people. The king does not care for us. The evidence I have found to support my reasoning is Britain is showing us that if we continue to resist, they will not resist. Well, to resist their rule, they will not hesitate to use force against us. If we do not decline decline independence, more soldiers will be sent and more innocent people will die. We must act now before more blood is spilled.
Ooh, wow, powerful, very powerful. Saying that the British have shown that they're willing to kill us if we don't listen and obey. It's time to, the time is now to fight back. The time is now to fight back. Delegate Ezra, do you have something you want to share or no? Okay, Delegate Jackson, go ahead.
The people that died at the Boston Massacre weren't so innocent because they were attacking British soldiers.
Delegate Jameson, anything to say to that?
Well, if the British soldiers didn't fire, then none of this would have happened. They could have left and walked away, and nothing would have happened.
Delegate Jackson?
It's really not the British soldiers' fault because someone in the crowd yelled fast fire and they're gonna obey their sergeant's orders. If they hear fire, they're gonna fire.
Delegate Cole?
Well, it could have been one of the British's soldiers because they already had some beef with them.
Delegate Hayden?
Yeah, since the Boston massacre, it was cause a little boy coming up to like the British soldiers, telling them that they're like a bloody redbacks and they're throwing snowballs, pieces of ice cubes. What would you do in that situation?
Jameson?
Personally, I wouldn't hit a child with my gun.
Alright, Delegate Adrian?
Like a kid, like a grown-up shouldn't hit a kid because that's like hitting like a really hard gun, like a really heavy gun at a kid is way worse than just throwing snow and calling people names and just throwing tiny bits of ice.
Okay, Delegate Jeannie? Get in front of the camera, look.
The only reason they did that was because they were getting called names, and maybe they just got like annoyed and couldn't control their anger.
Okay, Delegate Mason?
If I was an adult and a kid was calling me names, I would not hit him with a gun.
All right. With that, ladies and gentlemen, who thinks we should declare independence? Tell me with your voice, not just with your hands. Who believes that we should stay loyal?
Me.
Who would like to say thank you for watching? You can come up to the camera and say thank you, and then.
I really like to subscribe to more Scrum videos.
All right, go. Anybody else? Anybody else?
I believe so.
Bye.
He's Shamrock High.
It's best to